Spoilers: Chernobyl begins with a man alone in an apartment, speaking into cassette tapes because he no longer trusts the people around him to tell the truth. His name is Valery Legasov. He is a nuclear scientist, and 2 years earlier he helped contain the worst nuclear disaster in history. Now he says one quiet sentence that becomes the whole story: what is the cost of lies? Then the series jumps back to April 1986. At the Chernobyl nuclear power plant, workers are running a safety test that is already going badly. The reactor is unstable. The control room is full of alarms, confusion, and men who are afraid to stop the test because stopping it would mean admitting failure. Deputy Chief Engineer Anatoly Dyatlov pushes them forward. When the buttons are pressed, the reactor does not calmly shut down. It explodes. The blast tears open the building. A blue glow rises over the ruined reactor. Chunks of graphite which should only exist inside the core land outside in the open air. That detail should settle everything. But the managers cannot accept it. They insist the core is intact because the alternative is too frightening to say aloud. Firefighters arrive believing they are fighting an industrial fire. They have no special protection because nobody tells them what is burning. One man picks up a strange black chunk and it burns his hand. Another watches the beautiful blue light above the roof. The danger has no monster face. It is invisible, and that makes the scene even worse. In Moscow, officials wake Boris Shcherbina, a powerful party administrator. He knows politics, not nuclear physics, and he is sent to Chernobyl because the state needs someone to take control. Legasov is ordered to join him. At first, Boris treats the scientist like an annoying passenger. He wants a simple answer, a small number, a report that can be stamped and forgotten. But Legasov sees the graphite. He sees the readings being hidden and the damaged plant. He tells Boris the truth: the reactor core is exposed and radiation is pouring out. Boris does not want to hear it, yet soon he sees workers becoming sick, soldiers collapsing, and the town of Pripyat continuing its normal life under a poisoned sky. The lie is not abstract anymore. It is hurting people. The first great decision is evacuation. Pripyat's families are told to pack lightly as if they will return in a few days. Children leave toys behind. Old people leave homes behind. The buses carry them away from a place they may never see again. The show does not treat this as a neat rescue. It feels like a whole city being quietly erased. Meanwhile, the plant itself keeps threatening everyone. Water is collecting below the reactor. If the molten fuel reaches it, another explosion could spread the disaster much farther. 3 plant workers volunteer to enter the flooded tunnels and open valves. The show follows them into black water with only small lights and enormous fear. Their job is simple to explain and terrifying to do: go into the place nobody wants to enter, and stop something worse before it starts. Legasov and Boris become an unlikely pair. Boris is blunt, proud, and used to commands. Legasov is careful, nervous, and used to facts. But Boris begins to understand that facts are not an attack on the state. They are the only thing that can save it. When a minister tries to protect appearances, Boris finally pushes back. He has learned the ugly lesson at the center of the series: pretending danger is small does not make it small. The disaster now needs thousands of people. Miners are brought in to dig beneath the reactor. They know the heat is brutal and the job is dangerous, but they keep going because there is no easy replacement. The series gives them rough humor and stubborn dignity. They are not given a grand speech. They are given an impossible hole to dig. Then come the liquidators. Robots sent onto the roof fail because the radiation is too intense, so human beings are sent instead. Each man runs out for only seconds, shovels radioactive graphite into the open core, and runs back. The show calls them biorobots because machines could not survive where they were sent. It is a horrifying phrase because it turns people into tools, and yet each runner is still a frightened person under a helmet. At the same time, the series follows Lyudmila, the wife of firefighter Vasily Ignatenko. She refuses to abandon him as radiation sickness destroys his body. Their story is intimate and painful. It shows that a disaster is not only maps, reactors, and government meetings. It is a wife sitting beside someone she loves while every person around her says she should stay away. Another thread belongs to Ulana Khomyuk, a physicist who begins asking the questions others avoid. In the drama, she travels, interviews survivors, and gathers pieces of the truth. The series later makes clear that she is a composite character, representing many scientists who helped investigate. That matters because Chernobyl is a dramatized miniseries, not a documentary, but her role in the story is clear. She keeps pulling at the loose thread until the whole cover-up starts to unravel. The more Khomyuk and Legasov learn, the worse the pattern becomes. Operators made mistakes during the test, but the reactor design had dangerous flaws too. A safety system could create a deadly surge under the wrong conditions. Warnings existed. Information was buried. Engineers were trained to obey, and institutions were trained to protect themselves first. The government wants a clean story with a few guilty men. Dyatlov and the operators are put on trial. Legasov is supposed to explain enough science to blame them and then stop. Instead, he explains the test step by step. The reactor was unstable. The control rods had a design that could briefly increase reactivity. The men in the room did not create every weakness. They were operating inside a system built to hide weakness. This courtroom scene is the final explosion of the series. There are no flames. There is only a model reactor, a careful explanation, and a scientist deciding that a comfortable lie is no longer worth the price. Legasov tells the truth even though everyone powerful in the room understands what it will cost him. Afterward, the state punishes him quietly. His career is pushed aside. His voice is reduced. But before he dies, he records those tapes. The beginning of the story returns, and we understand why he was speaking into the dark. He is trying to leave a path for the truth after he is gone. Chernobyl does not end by pretending the disaster was solved. The reactor is contained, but the people who were exposed cannot be made whole by a report. The town is empty. Families are broken. The men who did the hardest work carry scars nobody can see. And that is why the title is more than a location. Chernobyl is a warning about invisible danger, but also about invisible fear. A lie can begin as one official protecting one reputation, then another person repeats it, then a city is not evacuated, then firefighters walk toward something nobody names. The series says truth is not always comforting. Sometimes it arrives like a terrible alarm, but an alarm has a purpose. It tells you to move before the room collapses. Legasov's final act is not heroic because he wins. It is heroic because he refuses to let the alarm be switched off. In the end, Chernobyl leaves one cold, simple thought. The explosion was one disaster. The decision to deny it was another.